Good morning, 8th grade. Today is Wednesday, October 21st. Today, Wednesday, we would like to review action verbs that we talked about yesterday. We're in 3.1 action verbs in our packet. Let me remind you, if you could please keep your packet intact, keep it together, and at the end of the week when we're finished with our lessons, we'll put it into Monday's homework folder. Your name is on the top of this page, please. We'll take a couple of minutes today to review the identification of action verbs in the sentence. You may have heard the movie directors call for lights and camera action. The actions in movies and plays can be expressed by verbs. If a word expresses action and tells what a subject does, it's an action verb. Yesterday we said that these actions can be mental or physical. In the middle of the page, and you'll see here in blue on my screen, there are just a couple of examples concerning what is a physical and what is a mental action verb. The director shouts at the members of the cast. The lights are flashing above the stage. The audience arrived in time for the performance. Several singers have memorized the lyrics of the song. Notice the action verbs. Notice that one of them contains a helping verb. Yesterday, we said if there are some of these verbs that stand by themselves, they can be labeled as action verbs, and that will be important to remember when we start picking out direct objects and objects that go along with linking verbs that we call predicate adjectives or predicate nouns. Have, has, and had are often used before other verbs. Again, we have that whole list, is, am, are, was, were, of linking verbs, sometimes helping verbs, but specifically has, have, and had used by themselves are considered to be action verbs. Have their costumes. The director has a script. Rosa had a theater program from 1920. In this case, I'm going to say that these are all action verbs, and that does make a difference because in an upcoming lesson we're going to say have what costumes, has what script, had what theater program, and we're going to say these are action verbs. So my task for today is to take a look at some sentences and simply identify what the action verb is inside of the sentence. Please turn to page 98. We want to concentrate on 10 sentences on the top of this page. Please use these directions. You'll see them on my screen over the top of something that was printed there. Circle or highlight the action verbs. That's my task for today. So, can I find the verb? Well, you're saying, is this not the same thing as finding the simple predicate in the complete predicate? Yes, you're absolutely correct. It's the same thing. Some of those things that we had in the first unit overlap now. Okay, so Spanish conquerors brought. What did they do? They brought. American wild horses, what did they do? They may have descended. We haven't seen one of these yet. We didn't see one yesterday, but we see it today. Not only one, but two helping verbs to go along with descended. In 1872, everyone on the ship, Mary Celeste, vanished. This ship, what did the ship do? Had set. It was later found at sea. Cattails grow in wetlands throughout the country. Many birds and amphibians live in the wetlands. In 1855, Walt Whitman published Leaves of Green. Whitman wrote the poem, "O Captain, My Captain." It honored the assassinated President Abraham Lincoln. So all of those are examples of action verbs, which we also call the simple predicate. Again, I'm not asking you to do it, but I just want you to take a couple of minutes and take note. Look at these prepositional phrases in the sentences. And we notice how much space that these take up, which makes my job simpler because it cannot be the subject, it cannot be the verb, and as we come to our next lessons concerning objects, it can't be the object either. And so these phrases are going to be important to keep in mind because I cannot use them as I would be selecting other words inside of the sentences. Takeaway from today. Can I find the action verb in the sentence? If you can, then you have mastered our lesson concerning the identification of action verbs. That'll do it for our lesson for today. Once again, keep these packets intact. You've completed all your work. There's no additional work to do. We'll continue our next lesson tomorrow, where we will begin discussing transitive and intransitive verbs, sentences that do or don't contain objects. Have a great day.